Over winter, Phil and I have been working on a new Broo log. The original Broo, featured in the back here, had a rounded pintail and more of a high performance sort of rail on it. And we just sort of thought, let's do something a little bit more traditional. We've kept basically the same template, except we've gone for a straight square tail on the back there. It's probably about 6 inches wide, and that sort of varies on the size of the board. This particular one's 9'1". The width we've kept the same at around about 23 inches, and of course maybe for the 9'6", you know, a little bit more, maybe up to 23 1/4. Thickness is the same. The bottom shape is pretty much the same. We've got sort of like a rolled V, but the big difference is in the rails. These are more of a real 50-50 rail like back in the 60s, and then that which helps make the deck a little bit flatter. The big difference between the new Broo and the old Broo is the deck line and the really thicker, bulkier 50-50 rails. So on the edge there you can sort of see the bottom's rounded right off, like on those old boards from the 60s, and it ends up giving you a much flatter deck. So if you're wanting to sort of surf a bit more traditional, walking the board, nose riding, this flatter deck makes the whole board a little bit more stable. The nose shape is a little bit pinned like those earlier boards. It's not a big full shovel nose, and the template is pretty much identical, as I was saying, with the original one here. The rocker line is very flat. There's a little bit of tail rocker, but these boards are shaped out of what's called a nose rider blank, so it has very little nose lift, and you'd sort of think, well, that might make it harder to nose ride, but in fact with the concave set under there, running from say 1/4 to 1/2 inch concave, and the flatter rocker, the board actually nose rides much better. We've been making a few of these. We've got a couple of demos available for people who want to try them out, and then of course we've also got Phil's high performance Mal, which is down at the Leo shop, and most people want to throw a board around. That's a very good board for that purpose. The big difference with a high performance Mal is you get back to a sort of like a much slimmer rail, a lot of edge on the tail. This Broo log, there's no edge. You're wanting it to sort of suck water, so that holds down while you're standing on the other end. The high performance Mal, like what Phil rides most of the time, has a really sharp edge at the back there, fair bit of rocker, and even a bit more nose lift, you know, so that you can take it down to Bells Beach or wherever and ride some little bit bigger waves. This one, I'm just happy to ride it in 2 to 3 foot, cruise along. We're still shaping a few rounded pintails, but in the main, the square tails become a little bit more popular because it is more of the traditional shape from the early days.